1690. sleep in the sun. Fills my mouth. Take all you need. Feeding on a dream, bursting at the seams. I fought against the ether, swallow me whole.
And we're joined in the studio now. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Alaska B.
And I'm Ange Loft, and we're both in Yamantaka Sonic Titan.
So it's been some time since you guys have put out any new music. They always squeak like that. It's inevitable.
Deep in this well.
Deep in this well where we're broadcasting from with Yamantaka Sonic Titan. So it's been some time since you guys have put out new music, and it seems like you're back at it now, playing shows again. And I heard, I'm assuming there's something that's being recorded or recorded.
Yeah, we have a new album coming out in the spring.
Okay.
But it's not like we haven't been doing nothing for the past few years. We have a mini release that I think nobody registers that we've been working on other things for a while.
we scored the game.
That's
Severed.
true. Yes. Yeah.
A lot of people. It's not like a full record with singles. So then it kind of flew under most people's radar. Though I think with the numbers sold, I think actually more people listen to that than they actually listen to our real records.
Yeah.
It's done amazingly well. It's I'll just kind of mention what it is. It's a touchscreen game by Drinkbox Studios, which is like an independent studio in Toronto, and it's called Severed. It's kind of like a dungeon crawler, but you swipe the screen like Fruit Ninja in order to attack the enemies. And it kind of has this like cutesy body horror story about a woman of color protagonist with a disability, missing an arm. If this, sounds like your kind of game, then I urge you to go try it out. It's available on iOS, PS Vita, Nintendo 3DS, and the Nintendo Wii. The Wii U, and the Switch.
So how did that come together? They contact you guys directly?
Well, we had actually like kind of worked on an interactive project a bunch of years ago that through kind of like a situation beyond our control, it ended up being kind of a canceled project. Okay. We couldn't really pursue it, but in our process of doing so, we had made a bunch of contacts within the game world, and we had partially scored Mark of the Ninja by Clay Entertainment, a Vancouver independent company, back in like I think 2012. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been the year. At least when we recorded it, it might have come out in 2013. I can't remember. But because of our work on that, Drinkbox Studios actually reached out to us and said, we're a huge fan of your work, and we not only want to license music to use in the trailer for a new game, but we would like you to score the entire thing. And it was kind of a very lucky set of events. I'm a huge fan of their other game, Guacamelee, which is like a side-scrolling Mexican wrestler-themed beat-em-up. And they have like a fantastic designer, Augusto Quijano, who he's a Mexican artist. He's a fantastic designer. So they have a very interesting, bright look, which is kind of the opposite of us with our black and white aesthetic. but in a way, it kind of worked out perfectly for us.
Yeah.
Plus, we got to like design levels for like some caves and places that were like deserts, and that was already up our alley. I guess.
It was way more interactive than just making music.
Yeah,
then.
Making like a.
Well, we didn't really. We didn't design the stages, but rather like when we were working with them, it was kind of like a joint project where. I mean, they were in charge of the game in every facet, but when we were like working on the tracks, they actually like took a lot of our like ideas into account. I'm not saying they incorporated any of them, but we had a lot of fun conversations and where we could kind of develop the vibe of the places together.
Yeah.
It was a very, very healthy and organic process. We kind of worked where they'd go, this is the concept art, this is what we want to get at. Then we'd go, this is this crazy idea that I have that they're like, I don't know. But then every time we kind of just go for it, it just always fits so perfectly.
It sounds like a real positive experience, especially when you're doing something like that that's kind of stepping outside of your comfort zone with what you guys are already doing with the band.
Yeah, it was really interesting getting to work on like loops. So we're just, because you have to design songs that loop ad nauseum. It's a little different than when you write for when people are singing and you have like pop song structures, etc. And I also want to make sure that I mention that we did it in tandem with the all-woman Filipino gong group Pantayo from Toronto, and they played their kulantang, which are Filipino gongs, all over that soundtrack, which really we couldn't have achieved without their contributions. And working with them was fantastic.
But it's like it's mostly all instrumental except for the last track, which is rad because people need instrumental music. There's a team of dancers right now that are working in Nunavut, working with a bunch of youth, and they just choreographed a piece to the track "The Citadel." So I think that's really fun. It's cool to have more instrumental stuff out there, and like working with a lot of dancers in my other world, and they want more instrumental music. So that's what we're doing now.
Do you guys foresee the band continuing more in that sort of direction, or branching off with those sort of things more on the side?
Well, I will say about our upcoming record, we kind of like went the other direction. I think like after working for almost 2 years on this project where, the tracks are dense, complicated beasts that we labored over for a very long time. And, having to go through many iterations where you have your demo, your proposal demo, then you have your, like, let's try it in the stage. Then you have the feedback from the players where they go, it's too annoying. You have to change something. It's like, you have to extend it, add some drum breakdowns, remix the section. Like, we would get, after doing that so much and working on these long, sprawling songs that had to, like, perfectly loop and make an environment without breaking immersion, it made us feel like our next record had to be just fast and hard and furious. And we kind of made every song much more concise, straightforward, and just blasted through them, and really try to put the focus on the, like the kind of a rock band core of the group. Because on Severed, we actually worked with 17 musicians total. Like,
oh, wow.
There were so many session musicians who came in, and a very incredible, diverse crew. People from, like, we had members of Obiju and stuff coming in the studio to add their little pieces. So for this one, we really wanted to go back to our basics. We worked on a big old Neve console, bunch of outboard gear, and just tried to make this gnarly rock record, kind of to offset what we had been doing for about 2 years. This has to sound good on every single TV, has to sound perfect on tiny little like speakers on your iPhone.
Yeah.
So like it was just trying to go the other direction of just being really like raw and real.
I mean, it's a straightforward rock record, but it's also the soundtrack for like anime that never got made.
Yeah, I think Severed also, like, because of the large scope and like the orchestral elements, has also pushed us into doing bigger and larger, more dense tracks than ever before.
Was it a direct reaction to your work on the video game to how you put together the record and making it more concise, or did that just kind of happen organically like that? Were you kind of leaning more towards doing something?
It was a bit of both. I at least speaking for myself, I've been suffering from chronic pain issues the past couple of years, and that really changed my life. Like, as a drummer, living with like constant pain and how that affects like your ability to play, like
just your life in general.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, that kind of changed the sense of urgency around it. Like, before it was like, yeah, let's make songs, and then Severed was like, let's make a game soundtrack. It was just so like, yeah, let's go do the thing. And then this one was like painful. It was like hard and painful. It was like burst in a boil, and it all comes out. It's a very I would say very powerful record. Like, it's just imbued with so much heft. Like, we want it to be heavier than ever before.
Well, we were remarking, hearing you guys recording the session there, how metal it's sounding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I mean,
Thank you very much.
I guess that's kind of indicative of how you were feeling, I guess, going in when you were writing everything.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, we had a big lineup.
That sense of catharsis, I guess.
Yeah, we had a big lineup change, new people coming in, and it just breathed a lot of new life. And for me, I was at it with I had a shoulder injury, and as a drummer, that's like,
oh my God,
that's like the worst. And I'm still dealing with it, but having this new crew people come in and breathe new life into it is also part of what gives it that grandness and heft of our new stuff. Is like, I felt like when I was weak, these people came together and kind of put the flame back in it, And I'm really happy with like kind of the heavier place we're in right now.
Was it difficult moving forward after Ruby and John had left the band? I mean, they were so formative to the band.
Yeah, for sure. It was.
I think a lot of people were surprised that the band continued.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the funny thing was the real reason why we continued was to do Severed. That was okay. So in a weird way, like, Severed kind of was the initial, like, we were down to like 3 members. We had already kind of like been approached to do this soundtrack, and we had to quickly go, okay, we have to make a new band if we're going to do this project. Otherwise, we have to just walk away from it, and that's just really bad business. So it was a process of just trying to fulfill our contractual obligations and work on a project that we were really stoked about. Mm-hmm. That kind of like pushed us to put a new lineup together.
Yeah, I think also like we'd been playing with other things, right? I make theater in my regular life, and we were trying to work on at the same time. We had a little crossover time in a sense, which was really nice. When new members came in, we met Pentayo. We had different kind of attempts to branch out with what we were doing. So it was this people coming and going, but we had some experimental work that could have turned into more theater for us, because we've done theater before, like Yamantaka Sonic Titan's done 33, and then we have another secret cantata so we do a lot of these things. We're like, we're gonna have this big idea, and who knows if it's gonna get made. So that one,
yeah, they often don't land.
A good chance to, but it was a good chance for us
to follow through on one of those ideas.
Yeah.
To invite more people in, and we found Pentayo, we found other people, we found Joe, our new singer, just to hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing too is that you know, if you think of this group as just a band, then yeah, like a line of change is like devastating. But we've always thought of it as a collective, and through working with Severed, being reduced to 3 allowed us to grow to 17.
I mean, the band had previously been... It's one of those funny things, like, you know, we'd worked with so many different iterations of this group before. Super flexible members that are on the record that you just played are, you know, long gone by now.
Yeah, like that's Walter Scott in the middle from, if anybody knows, Wendy or Zenona. Yeah, or Shabroy, who left to join Dirty Beaches and actually moved to Berlin, and he's working out there as Night Music now. It's his new techno project. So it's all, and it was always like a super band. Like when we started, Shabroy was from Grand Trine with Tobias Rockman, who's now in Palata.
Grand Trine, that's a name I haven't heard.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, you don't do enough astrology. Otherwise, you'd hear it all the time. But
I don't. You're correct.
What kind of radio show is this? Like, get me out of here.
You know what? 6 years ago is when that record came out. That's a long time when you really think about it. For, you know, things change and things progress. To see where the band is at this point now, I mean, it's a complete other beast, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, I think that was the, like I was saying about Severed, it's like it broke, like we were broken down and then built back up. I'm even playing guitar in that soundtrack, and that's the worst idea. It's letting me play guitar. It's always bad. Yeah, I once played guitar. I'm just going to tell this story because it's so stupid. Tom Cochran once called us on FaceTime.
Wow.
From our bassist restaurant. And they were just kind of pointing the cell phone around and pointed at me, and I was holding a guitar. So I was like, only chance I got, and played him Smoke on the Water, and that's all I've got. It's about as good as it gets.
Well, life is a highway.
Yeah.
So continuing on that highway, you guys have recorded a new album. It'll be out sometime soon. In March. And I'm assuming there's going to be a whole bunch of touring that'll be starting after that.
Yes, there are dates that hopefully we'll be announcing very soon.
And you're going to be in Montreal this Saturday.
This Saturday at Ministère.
Have you seen this place?
I haven't been there. It's crazy. Actually, I haven't spent more than like 24 hours in Montreal in 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
For a person, I moved here 15 years ago, and I just was in and out constantly for years. It's been really wild to stop for 2 years and work on something else and then come back and see how it's changed. It's wild.
Well, Ministère, if anyone's unfamiliar to catch the show this Saturday, it's a new venue that's on the corner of Montreal and Saint Laurent. If you've ever walked up Saint Laurent, you've noticed this weird kind of old style building on the right.
It used to be a club.
I was just gonna say that there's always this weird kind of dance club. Like apparently, it's a little bit. It's past the Belmont.
Past the Belmont.
It's like just past that corner where the Belmont is.
Yeah, that was like an old.
Yeah, no, it's the other. It's the other corner.
It's the other corner. Yeah.
We played La Belmont once, and it's just up the street, and there are always the guys standing outside in the Echo Red.
Yep,
outfits.
That's you've nailed it. So that's the Ministère now. So yeah, I don't know. It should be a cool show. So I'm glad you guys are back at it. And I'm looking forward to hearing the new record.
Thank you.
Did you guys record some new songs in there?
Yeah, all new material.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So we got exclusive material then.
Yeah, be careful with that.
We will be.
Don't want to hurt anybody.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming by to the station and lugging all your stuff. And when people are going to see the video, I know right now they're listening to it on air, but you guys did the whole performance, like with lights and makeup and everything. And I can't say how much we appreciate that. That is so cool to see.
Most people just say we're overcompensating.
Well, you can catch Yamantaka Sonic Titan this Saturday, part of M for Montreal at Le Ministère. And I'm sure we'll see you guys sometime soon in 2018 when a new album comes out.
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right.
CJLO 1690.